slowly trying to take care of these problems with the audio. I'm not sure why we're getting double audio right now, but nevertheless, hopefully it'll take care of itself. I think it was unpaused. That's probably why I was hearing it again. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay, and I hope everyone is doing okay on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. This is my last Saturday before I have to go back to work this next week, so I'm not super excited about that, but it is what it is. So, what's up? How you doing today, Perry? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Hey, R. Craig, how you doing, buddy? What's up, Perry? You were gonna say something?
R. Craig 57. No, just a little exhausted from doing little chores.
Little lawn? Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, I mowed a weed eater for about 2 hours, and now I'm all cleaned up, and I'm gonna go have another birthday dinner tonight. Some Italian joint.
Oh, see, you wouldn't have been able to made it tonight anyway, so it worked out. So,
well, I mean, it's in a couple hours.
oh, okay. Oh, well, this won't be too long. This will be an hour and a half, like normal. Okay. So, all right. So,
sounds good.
I want to go ahead and talk about. I'm very excited for this AMA coming up here on the 16th. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss some of it because I'm going to be at work, so I'm going to have to come home late to it and catch up on it. But I was thinking, now I'm sure they have a place where we can ask questions, but I'd kind of like to get the community's idea on some of the questions that they might have. So I've come up with some questions of my own, and I'd love to see in chat what kind of questions everybody else had. So if you guys have some questions in chat, please feel free to go ahead and share those because I'd love to see them. And I will start us off, though, with a question, and we'll just kind of take it from there. So one of the things, let's see, what questions, how about, what key systems, and this would be directed to Steven, what key systems are you most excited for players to experience in Alpha 2? And how will they differ from previous phases? What do you think about that one? I try to come up with no yes, no answer questions, stuff like that. So I think that's important that we actually get an answer out of what we're looking for. So that's really what we're looking for. Hey, MF Crackers. It says you're a first-time chatter, but I could have sworn you've been here before. What biomes will be in Alpha 2? That's a good one. Hey, Dresh, how you doing? Expected update release schedule.
The roadmap apparently is going to be in.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's what I think we're all, he's going to be going over the roadmap in depth. So that'll be, hopefully he's going to answer all the questions that we're going to have as far as the roadmap in A2 launch. Yeah. Out of curiosity, MF Crackers, what do you think we're going to see? I was talking to Zillin about this when I was on his stream last week, and he kind of changed my mind. I think eventually that we're probably going to see maybe 7 of them, total, and then it'll kind of get rotated as we need to, check out different areas for Alpha 2 to test those different areas and the content in them. So I don't think that they're ever going to have them all up at once for us. But I do, Zillion has said that he thinks this is going to be the Riverlands at first. And at first I'm like, boy, that's not very much. But more and more that I think about it, I think that probably would be a good thing. Because even though we've all seen the Riverlands all the time, it's something important that we need to... God, there we go with the chatters again. First time best viewers on. These guys are relentless. Anyway, ignoring him... I think it's important that we go ahead and test the Riverlands first and make sure that that is functional, and then we can move on from there. I hope everyone is tempering their expectations for Alpha 2 launch, because I don't, how should I say, it's going to be a lot better further on down the road. It'll be very interesting to see how it goes. Very interesting. What can I say?
I agree.
I just don't think they're gonna have that much stuff ready for us. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, There's a whole
They're
lot of
gonna
stuff
have
for them to put in.
crafting. I mean, gathering, processing, crafting. They're gonna have a good chunk of stuff. I mean, they're not gonna have like in-game bosses or anything. But Carfin, we're gonna have that. I
Well,
think we're
they
gonna
will.
have
I
more
think they
than
will have
expected.
Tumok. I think Tumok is planned to be in Alpha 2. I might be wrong, but I think Tumok
At
and
launch.
wasn't. And, oh yeah, well at launch, but wasn't that no? Yeah, at launch of because Tumok is a Riverlands a boss,
Yeah,
so I think that he will be there. Now I don't think that it was Firebrand, right? That dragon that they were talking about, the one that they teased. I don't know if he
I
will
doubt
be
that.
in
Yeah.
at the beginning of Alpha 2. Cracker says if killing people will be the main content. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Crackers. I think that a lot of people, and welcome Dresh and Crackers and Craig and everyone who's come on in so far. Hope you guys are having a great day. I think that there is going to be a lot of killing early in Alpha 2. I think there's going to be, you remember in Alpha 1 how, they basically said, all right, guys, that's too much killing. Enough. We need people to be able to test the game. And they're not able to do it because everyone was always dying. So they eventually shut off PvP. But I think with 150,000 people or more, they're going to have a difficult time in doing that, in patrolling all those people. So I think PvP will be active, and it's just going to take a while. I think we're just going to let the corruption system have to work on it, on its merit and do what it's supposed to do as far as discouraging people. I mean, if people eventually want to start leveling up to 25 or 30 or whatever it ends up being, they're going to have a real hard problem if they don't, if they keep going negative experience. So they're really going to end up slowing themselves down. I think that they're going to find in the big scheme of things that it's not worth it. And after the first week or so, I expect it to taper off. Dresh says, I think the land and gather points for a few biomes will be done, and all the quest content will probably fill in after. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I mean, let's just get, I remember they said that they're going to do focus testing, so we want to make sure that we're there to test, not to play. So we'll have more time, because the servers will be, quote unquote, persistent. We'll have more time to run around and check out things when they're not having us do a focus test or something like that. So it's our job to try to give them the best data that we can so they can get that data, make the improvements they need to, and then move on from there. Would you agree with that, Perry?
Oh yeah, the whole thing. It's a test, like you said. Even though this is going to be the most polished alpha, in my opinion, out of pretty much any game that I've ever seen. It's very, very polished just by looking at it. But they're just going to keep adding stuff in, like the quests. I think they will have some quests. Hopefully, they'll have some quests. And I'm not sure if they've had
Oh,
a
I'm
chance at that,
sure.
but
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll have
yeah.
some quests in, and
I mean, the
um,
gathering quests and the tools and stuff like that. I'm really excited for that. But yeah,
I'm
it's going to be it's a test area. Like we don't know. There's just so many questions to ask. Just with the ratios of everything, the corruption, the caravans. I mean, it's going to be a blast.
I mean, we can't. What was I going to say? You got to figure they had quite a few quests in during Alpha One, so we have to figure that those quests probably haven't changed. They're probably still there, and it's
Hmm.
just now it's Unreal. So if everyone, yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people here watched Alpha One and or played it, so
Ugh.
they actually had quite a few quests already in Alpha One. And there's one thing that I want to point out about the quest for people. I am not a big quester. Okay, I don't normally enjoy questing that much. Hey, Prison X, how you doing? 13,
Ooh, the
first
weather
time
system.
chatter. Ah, I want to see the weather season changing in the biomes with how it affects gathering skills. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah, that would be very cool. Um, what I was gonna say,
Questing. Yeah.
what? What was it?
Yeah, questings will hopefully will they'll all be the same. Like the mushroom one in the cave and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that game looks. Only watched Alpha. I didn't get to play, as you know, but they don't. But it looked so bad. At least Alpha 2 looks like a good game. A lot of people are into aesthetics, so um, yeah.
Hey, Ann, how you doing? Yeah, questing usually is a means to an end for me, Dresh, as well. But I will say this. I will say that the questing, you really need to read the quest. I remember that in Alpha 1 because I'm usually one of those guys who just like, hits escape, and accept. And then I'm moving on to the quest and following it on the map. But this is different. There was a few of them that I actually had to go back. I'm like, why isn't this working? What the hell? And I asking people in chat because I didn't read. Reading is hard. I didn't read what I was supposed to read. And if you read the quest, it would tell you what it wanted you to do. So people are going to need to pay attention to the quest. This is not going to be going there, hit escape and then move on from there. And AI says, so do we learn any more on the Bard? Well, geez, there's a ton of information. I got a video up on YouTube that I made a few weeks ago, Aeon, about the Bard. I believe it's going to be you're going to see it in every group. I really feel like it's going to be a great class. They did a wonderful job on it. It's got a real diverse set of skills. You got healing, you got crowd control, you got speed, you got a little bit of damage. There's really nothing that class doesn't have. Mana regen. So, give me 1 second, guys. My father is calling. Perry, why don't you talk to him for 1 second?
Yeah, Bard's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of things people are looking forward to. I'm not a quester either. Like I'll do it because it's the fastest way to level. Like if it's a kill quest or something for the area, or if you get some information about opening up a story zone or a story arc. Very interested on those, how they're going to open up the area, and because also I'm into gathering, specifically mining. I want to see how far if there's going to be events will be in the game too, like the system events where if you mine too much or if you cut down too many trees, goblins will come out and attack, or ents will come out and attack, or so forth. Things like that. I want to see how interactive the game is on that standpoint.
No, absolutely. I'm going to test this follower real quick. And sorry, I had to take that phone call, guys. My dad is, as most people know, he's got stage 4 cancer, and if he calls, I need to answer it. So,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground.
That sounds a little bit better. Still a little bit staticky. I wonder if it's because I'm restreaming on so many different platforms. I wonder if that has something to do with it. But it does sound a little bit better. Cracker says A2 currently is like the best MMO in existence. Yeah, that would be an accurate statement. I got to tell you, MF Crackers, that I've been looking for something to play, and I cannot find anything that I really want to stick with. There's just nothing that keeps my interest that long. I usually will just play survival games. Survival games would be a lot more fun if people would actually join the community and we could all play them together. A bunch of hopeless AOC people playing a survival game together. Until we get to play Alpha 2, but it is what it is. I'm in the same boat. There's nothing to play right now. And he also says you're glad that you're not trying to plan a vacation around. Oh, now that would have been blown away already. People, I guarantee people. There were some people that did. They probably it took like 2 weeks to a month off or something. In one of those time frames, just hoping that they would get lucky. But who knows? You have the same problem finding something. Yeah, I think we all do it. I was actually thinking about reinstalling League of Legends or something like that soon, just to do something. But I think everyone would agree with me that the Bard, answering Aeon's question, that the Bard, he looks like the real deal to me. What I'm really excited to see now is let me see that rogue. Let me see that rogue, and let me see the summoner, because now I actually have new hope for the summoner. Again, this is something that Zillan brought up to me and I wasn't aware of because I really didn't dig too deep into the summoner. But in Dark Age of Camelot, the Necromancer, which was his own class, basically was a shade, and you couldn't kill him until you killed his pets, or his pet. And that class was a really fun class to play. A good farmer, and he was relatively decent in PvP, and they're saying that this Necromancer style is going to be the same, where it's going to be a shade form and you have to kill the pet in order to go ahead and kill the Necromancer. So yeah, exactly, Craig. And so if it's like that, then yeah, I might be very interested in the summoner. Now here's a question for you and for Steven. Do you think that they're going to go ahead and, now they did mention a tease about the summoner, I don't know, it was 3 months back or something like that. Now with the alpha being moved back maybe to late October, what do you think? Do you think are we doing like a Dumb and Dumber? You saying there's a chance, for maybe ask me if there's a chance a summoner could be in there by then. And Prisoner says, should they showcase a tank and cleric again with A2 tuning? Bard and Mage overshadowed them. Yeah, they probably did. Prison. That's a fair assessment. I don't know if they will. Maybe eventually they'll go ahead and do that. But at this point, they got so many other things they need to go ahead and show that I don't know if that'll be it, in the deal. Because I mean, we're looking at what 3 months before people actually get to see them being played anyway. So they wouldn't have enough time really to do that unless they just dedicated these next few months to that. So I don't know. As you understand, you are the pet. Yeah, that could be very interesting. Crackers, very interesting. Dresh says the tank and a cleric have a good showing though. Is really impressed. Yeah, I didn't think especially after they redid the tank showcase. They had that kind of impromptu test and it didn't go over well. And what I really liked was they listened to the players or listened to the people's feedback. Said, man, that stream really wasn't really good, and they fixed it. They went back and remade it. I thought that was really impressive. You want to read some of these other questions, Perry, or statements?
8-man bard group and mage groups. Yeah, exactly. Just full 8 of mage.
Jeez. That's an AoE nightmare for putting people to sleep.
Yeah, just ice storm everything, and yeah, you sleep everything. A2 is the ultimate showcase. Yeah.
No.
It will. It's an interesting thought that you brought up because it got pushed back that the summoner and the rogue teams, they just needed 2 months to work on it, and that's 2 months, kind of thing, or a couple months. But like other people are saying, I doubt it. They're just going to use that as more of a hype.
Yeah,
To keep
and
the hype
I would
going,
too.
so.
I would too. I would just take care of the things that they're trying to take care of and get things ready for Alpha 2 and maybe worry about that. I'm sure they have some people working on the Summoner and the Bard, but we all know how this is going to go, guys, because this is the way testing goes. Once people find out that they are just testing it and they're not going to be able to go ahead and, it's not going to be the full playable game that they were hoping for, there's going to be a huge fall off. So let's just say that we get 150,000. And after the first week or so, I would not be surprised to see it maybe down to 50,000, maybe less. Does anybody else agree with that?
They better play it right because people drop off fast, and people that want to play their class, their summoner or rogue are very popular classes. Hopefully it won't discourage a lot of people from coming back.
Well, those people,
like
they'll come back. All the people who have access to Alpha 2, they will come back when they reintroduce the Rogue and the Summoner. But I'm just talking about the fact that we're going into a testing environment in general, right? So I don't think that they understand that the game is just not this. It's not gonna. You're not gonna walk in. It's not gonna feel like the world of WoW, World of Warcraft or something like that. It's a testing environment, and people need to understand that. As we progress further and further into Alpha 2, yeah, more and more stuff's going to open up. We're going to have a lot more freedom. We're going to be able to actually test out the classes and do a lot of the stuff that we want to do. A lot of maybe the crafting and the gathering, like you mentioned, the mining. So there's going to be a lot of different stuff, but early on, I just don't want people's expectations to get too high. And I do believe that there'll be a large drop off. And I think this is primarily one of the big reasons that they also decided to reopen up Alpha 2 sales. And I'm curious to see how much, now that we're bringing that up, how much it's going to cost players to get in. I've been saying I don't want to really see people get in there for under $100. How about you guys? What do you guys think in chat? And then you can go ahead and read Dresh's statement if you would. Perry, after you've answered how much you think that Alpha 2 should go for.
My sound is cutting out like crazy.
No.
Alpha 2 is what? I'm sorry?
The price of Alpha 2. Is it your headset that you're having problems with?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's my computer doing something. It's always had this problem.
Okay. That's okay. I was just talking about what you think the price of Alpha 2 should be. I think it should be no more than no less than $100 personally. I think he's having some sound issues. So, Dresh says, I'd love to redo a more polished tuning in this point. It would be wonderful to see, but the mystery is okay. Well, we know that they are decently done. No, that's fair. That's fair. And Prison says drop off will happen until they drop secondary archetypes. Yeah, that's very possible too. Prison. I just think I think overall the drop off is inevitable because once people realize that it's going to be focus testing for a while and stuff like that, it's just not going to be. There are many people who have not heeded Steven's advice, saying, "Guys, this is a test. We're testing. This is not a fully fleshed out game." There's a lot of people that I think, and this is their own fault for feeling that way if they feel disappointed. Are you back now, Perry?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and take over
What was
here.
your question?
Price of what you think Alpha 2 is. Do you think there's going to be a large drop off after? And then you can go ahead and answer some of these other guys' questions.
I mean, there's going to be a large drop off from any game, honestly. But those first couple months, I think it'll stay pretty solid, especially if they do the 1 month or 2 month or month and a half of Rogue Summoner. But after those 2 months, it's no matter what game it is, it will drop off. Period. But people will come back. They'll add new things. There'll be a tweet or something or an update. The monthly updates, I'm assuming, are going to keep going.
Yeah.
Hopefully, right? Do you think?
Yeah,
So?
yeah. I think the monthly updates will definitely keep going, and I think that's kind of like a staple of Intrepid right now. The transparency that they have, and as a matter of fact, I'd like to see the updates, the live streams keep happening after launch. I think it's really cool just to see they can tease out what
Ladies
they kind
and
of.
gentlemen, welcome to my
Hey, Prison.
underground lair.
Yeah, that sounds better. Thank you very much for the follow, buddy. Welcome to the channel. We appreciate having you here. What was I going to say? I think that having the live streams even after launch would be cool, so they can kind of tease some of the new stuff that they're working on. They can talk maybe about class balance and some of the other stuff that maybe some players have had. It's a good way to get out there and talk to your players about some of the issues that maybe they've had. You still there, Per? Did I lose you again?
No, it's just cutting out again.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. So that's okay. Aeon says of $100, I better get a full game in unnamed favors law. And Dresh says $80 to $100 should help get the serious testers. And Aeon, I think that's what it's all about. They still are going to have a higher price tag on it, or I believe they probably should, because they want to get focus testered. Look, if you're just looking for a game to play, this is not what you want to sign up for yet. Wait, maybe beta. You could jump in for beta or something like that, but not yet. Or maybe 6 months down the road, the Alpha 2 road. And the beautiful thing about it is that since it's not going to be NDA, you're going to be able to watch it, right? So you're going to be able to find out what it's like and see other players' reactions to it. So if you're on the fence, or you think, since you're going to be able to buy back into it, if you're on the fence, just wait and watch the streams, watch us play it, and see what you guys think. That would be my big advice to everybody who is on the fence about whether they should get it. Just hold off, just wait, and then you can jump into it for yourself if you feel like there's enough content in there for you to keep you busy while you're doing the focus testing. And one of the other things that I was talking about, I made the video about the divine nodes on YouTube, and so far it's been going over pretty well. And one of the things that was brought up, and I had thought about this as well, was would you like to see, currently as I know it, that the nodes are going to be static, right? They're going to be static, and they are what they are. But would you like to see on different servers, every different server, having it be like a procedurally generated as far as where those nodes are, so not every server is the same? I think that would be really cool. I don't know if I like the idea of having every server the same. Now, I don't know if they've come out and said this. I'm pretty sure that they've just said they're static, so we're assuming it's going to be static on every server that they have, kind of like a New World map or something like that. But I kind of would like to know if it's possible, if they can adjust that and kind of make that procedural so it changes, so you really don't know. And that would give every server its own unique little flavor. What do you guys think about that? Would you like to see something like that? Is that possible?
That is definitely possible. That's what I thought early on, and that it was going to be that way. And I want an AMA or a walkthrough of what was their mindset on what areas are what. Like what did they why did they decide, oh, this area, this county or whatever or section is a military node and things like that. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, it would definitely make it more, but there's got to be a reason why they made them static. I want to know why. Yeah.
Interesting. And Craig says, I wonder what milestones would need to be met in order to move from A2 to Beta 1. I realize A2 will eventually move on to, PTR. And that's interesting. I think, well, they'll have to have, obviously, we'll know that they're not even close if Naval's not in. So we'll know that. So when Naval starts getting in and starts getting fleshed out, then I think we'll be a little bit closer. When class balance gets some touches up to it, and that starts getting a little bit closer. When the caravans, when their core pillars are running well. So when you have the corruption system working well, right? So it's working as intended. When you have the caravan systems working well and working as intended, the augment systems are working as intended. When all those things, and there's probably some stuff that I'm missing, when all those core pillars and game loops are working as intended, that's when I could see us getting closer to Alpha 2. And I've said this a bunch of times. We're not going to go ahead and I want for them to be able to launch, because I don't want Alpha 2 to go on for 2 to 3 years. Okay? I really don't. And I think that would be foolish of Intrepid to go ahead and do something like that. So I think I'd like to see it maybe a year and a half, no more. So what I'm expecting at launch is a game that has game loops and secondary progression to play. So give us something to do while they add more content and put more stuff in, which they've said they're going to do every 3 to 6 months. So the game that we get launched, when it officially launches, and which will probably be the same, real close to what it is in Alpha 2 at the end of Alpha 2, is going to be a much, much different game 10 years from that day. So, hey, Avi, how you doing, buddy? What's going on, my friend? So, as long as we have stuff to do, we can level up our secondary systems. We got all kinds of dungeons we can do. We got world bosses we can do. And, as long as I'm bringing this up, Perry, and you can answer this question too, because I put a video out about, what's your favorite node and stuff like that yesterday. And I really think that the academic nodes are going to be the shit. You're going to see more than one academic node on the server because simply, and probably one on each continent, because you can airship over the water instead of having to fight the pirates every time you want to go across the water. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's a real possibility? Because I personally do. What do you think, Perry?
The academic, you mean the scientific for the?
It's called academic now, but yes, you can refer to it as the scientific.
Well, what am I thinking of? Oh, economic node. There's academic and then economic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I honestly, I love the teleport. You're right. I think most people will, just for convenience, will have that what's it called, fast travel. But the idea of having a stall anywhere, like once you get that metropolis, if you're a citizen of a metropolis of an economic node, that would just be so
with
cool
the
to have
certificates that you can buy. Yeah,
and
definitely.
not just in town. At what you can get at a metropolis one, you can put a player stall anywhere.
Yeah,
you could literally have your own business and stuff like that. I don't know the rules on that. I don't know if it can be attacked and robbed, and who knows. But
I think they can be killed in their stall. I think I saw something like that a player can be killed in their stall. I don't think you probably can loot anything from their stall, and I would kind of hope not. That would really deter players from wanting to think about it.
doing it at all. So
I could totally see a bunch of tents right outside of Carfin. People selling food buffs.
Yeah,
People
like,
selling potions.
It'd just be an unsaid thing, and it's just like, why would anyone attack stalls outside of Carpin? Because they're just trying to help people. Everyone's
Right.
trying to get in there and do potions and
Unless some guys got like really ridiculous prices, and maybe I could see attacking them. But he's trying.
You won't sell to me. I'm going to rob you.
The inflation is too high in AOC, so I can see real life problems there. I don't know, but
inflation is a thing in game too.
Oh my god!
The economy and how much repair costs are, and how much it better be managed well, and that's just another thing to look forward to in alpha.
Gresh says the choice by the players of which to build and be a good randomizer. But you're right, the areas around the gates will feel the same on most servers. Yeah, I mean, you still got your four divine portals, and here's something we haven't. I would be interested to find out for the AMA. First, I'll see what Avi said. Avi said because people are mean and want to disrupt it. There is a large sect of people like that, Avi. There's no doubt about that. Dresses burn down the competition and set up your own stall.
Yeah, so good.
Law. Here's something to think about. What about asking Steven, what is an update on the Talnar in the Underrealm? We haven't heard anything about the update on the Talnar in the Underrealm. It's kind of been crickets. What do you guys, would you like to get an update on that to see if you can give us a little bit of enlightenment on the Talnar?
Couldn't care less about the Tolnar, but the Underdark or whatever, I would definitely like.
Underrealm, yeah.
Or Underrealm, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Underrealm's going to be important. It's probably going to have some fishing under there. I could maybe see some unique alchemic ingredients down there.
It might be a web or a connection from continent to continent.
Nah, I don't know. That would be really sick if it was like, under all the water. I mean, that's a big Underrealm. There's a lot of water. So
they can make it, little portal here and there or whatever.
With access to the Underrealm for resources. Yeah, I mean, and what's it going to be like there when we go down there, Dresh? Is it going to be hostile since we're not Talnar? And Prison says Talnar sound like somewhat bit more than they could chew off at the end of the... Yeah, I believe it was a Kickstarter reward, the Talnar. I believe that's what it was. I can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it was. Cracker says, I can't imagine much being done unless done with the Talnar. G, take care of Atlas, please. Avi says, I think that there will be PvP bottlenecks going in and out of there. They're probably... I mean, that would make a lot of sense, right? As far as PvP, I think a lot of people are there's a lot of people that really aren't used to open world PvP. Now, coming from games myself like Dark Age of Camelot and stuff like that, I'm very used to open world PvP. So it's going to be very interesting how people use terrain and choke points and stuff like that, bridges, all that stuff to use to their advantage. So I hope people are ready for that. And please, for the love of God, use scouts. You want to go ahead and read Craig's question there, Perry?
They need to have a monthly update showing the Underrealm. Yeah. They haven't really said anything about it. We're gonna have to go down there for crafting materials and stuff like that. So it's gonna
see right there, Perry. Craig's played DAOC. Aeon says Darkness Falls for the win. Hell yeah, all you DAOC lovers, thank you very much. I love DAOC, and Perry. He never played it, so he doesn't really know. But I've told people it's the best PvP game I've ever played. And Dresha's Steven said that Steven said they had some civilization down there in somewhat tribal states, and some hostile and some of them not. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
you played Black Desert.
They're warring factions or whatever, so.
Crackers played. I logged into Black Desert, Crackers. I didn't play very long. It had already been out for some time, back in the day, and so I came into it late, and I didn't have anyone to play with, so I didn't stick around to it. But I heard it was a really good game. And it's still being played, so that says something for it. DAOC was a miracle. That's damn Skippy.
You know that you've seen we've all probably seen that video of Tumok walking through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like he's like a dark shrouded woods and he's like walking away. That literally looks exactly like an area and the ogres from Black Desert Online. It's almost it's ridiculously close. It's like they stole it from him. But Prison says if the 4 static portals are able to be used for PvP travels and sieges, will they be able to be camped by alliances? See, there's got to be something down there. I don't know if they may make the whole Underrealm PvP like the water, like
Well,
no corruption.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but he's talking about he's talking about the divine portals, and if we remember from Alpha 1, the divine portal opened us up into kind of like a ruined city. It wasn't necessarily ruined, but it was like a small little starter area. And I'm pretty sure that they had some vendors, they had some quest guys, and they had some guards. I guess you could camp it outside of it, but that'd be because you can go any direction from there. So I don't know if that would be feasible to really camp the portals. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to be... look, at the start of the game, I don't see anybody camping portals.
Guards. There's going to be guards at portals and stuff like that, I bet, because they're going to be starting zones and stuff like that. So I doubt that's going to happen.
BDO was fun at the start at launch, and Crackers played at launch, and I'm an Arcade guy. You know what? I was as I was making that video for YouTube the other day, I went ahead and I was getting some airship footage. And you remember how everyone was talking about how they hated in Alpha 1 that the sprint effect, you could see like the little white lines coming behind you. That's exactly what it was in Arcade, and it just made me laugh. And you can see it in my latest video because there's a clip of it up there, and I'm just laughing because everybody hated that little sprint animation so much, and that's exactly what it was. Hey, Grumpy Guy, how you doing, my buddy? Oh man, I am so down with that idea with the open seas. I think everybody in here will be, looking forward to the open seas. And I got to be honest with you, I'm gonna try to stay open-minded to it because I know that Steven's big into Pathfinder, and I think potion launchers is kind of an idea from Pathfinder. I am not really big into the potion finders. I kind of like the old cannonball deal. But I'm gonna stay open-minded. I'll see what it is. What was that stuff that they had? The alchemic stuff that they had in Game of Thrones. Do you guys remember what that was called? That it was something fire, where they blew up.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember they blew up the ships and stuff. That was really cool. So I guess if it was something like that, that would be pretty cool. But I do like the old cannons and stuff like that. Deep ocean content would be great. What I'm interested in is treasure hunting. I used to love treasure hunting in treasure ship hunting in Arcade, and I really hope that it's very similar in that respect. That would be pretty cool. That was a lot of money to be made. Dragon Flea? Oh, Dragon Fire. Okay, yeah, basically napalm. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I gotta watch Game of Thrones again. I've already watched the full thing like 3 times, but it was such a good series. It was great. Dragonfire or Flame or something. Yeah, but yeah. So if it was something like that, I could see that being pretty cool. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the idea of potion launchers taking place of traditional cannons in naval ship fights? I mean, what?
No, I don't think it fits the aesthetic at all.
No,
upsets me actually.
Yeah, I'm not really with it, but I'd love to hear your guys' feedback, and I had to make a video about this and try to get everyone's opinion, because I don't know too much about potion launchers, but I could probably dig into it and find something out. You do want normal cannons, but open-minded? Yeah, no. I think a lot of people are kind of in that camp, and we'll get to Greek Fire. No, I don't think it was Greek Fire. AV. I don't think it was Greek Fire, but yeah, that's very interesting. So what kind of other? How about can you elaborate on any significant changes or update to the node system since the last alpha? Well, they really didn't have too much of the node system in there. So in that alpha, one of the things I'm curious about, again referring to the video that I just made, I was talking about all the nodes and their superpowers. Well, the military node didn't have really a superpower yet that was at least officially announced. So, what do you guys think that the military node superpower is going to be? Because this could be very interesting. We already know that they get the bounty hunters, and we already know that they have their defense is going to be a little bit greater. I think that they can update their wildfire. I think they can update their guards a little bit more, or they're just inherently tougher. So what kind of superpower would you guys want to see in a military node? Can you guys think of anything off the top of your head that would be competitive to like portals and auction houses and catacombs? It's got to be something big, right?
It'll be cheaper. Being a citizen of a military node, I think that to do node sieges on other nodes will be cheaper. Like for siege equipment and stuff, it'll take like less to set up, and the supplies will be cheaper.
Like a Sally Dresch. Avi, are you trying to say trebuchet? is that what you're trying to spell there? Looks like it's trebuchel.
Exactly. Yeah, so you can set up catapults and trebuchets and the ballista. So
well, see, they already have trebuchets, don't they?
I know, but it'll be easier. So like it's going to take a lot of materials, they said, for a siege.
Yeah,
and maybe it's a part of the military node is you can have like faster materials or more.
I think it's
less
got
materials.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something with the guards. Well, no, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than just a guard thing. It's got to be something big, something that will because having guards there, extra guards, is really not going to be a reason for people to want to stay there and be a citizen there. Yes, while their place might be more defended, is that really going to be a reason for you to make home there? It's got to be something bigger. We're not thinking grand enough.
Said.
What?
I mean, siege wars are huge.
They are big, but I don't know. I don't know. Cool. Oh, a Trojan horse. Of course, everybody knows what's inside the Trojan horse, so that's gonna get some wildfire on it. So, not to be horse with the horse Trojans law. Cracker says think should have regular cannons. Now I agree with the regular cannons thing with special kinds of ammo. And that's talking about the special kind of ammo. I want to see a form of grape shot too, where you can go for the sails, like Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. I think that having the capabilities to shoot somebody's sails down that's kind of like a big thing in naval. So it doesn't really feel like naval if you don't have access to all the kinds of different cannonballs. And are you going to be able to get that with potion launchers? So that's kind of where I stand on that. Stat bonuses, con or dodge. Stat bonuses could be interesting. You're able to get more stat bonuses. We'll have to see what they can come up with. They keep throwing out these ideas as we do the stream, because that's going to be kind of a big deal. I'm trying to come up with something off the top of my head, but I'm going to have to do some thinking about this. And Perry, why don't you go ahead and talk for a second while I find another question for us to go over here.
Maybe you get a winged monkey army. Jesus.
Oh, wait.
What is this? The Wizard of Oz? I don't know. Maybe the ability to break down the gates faster, things like that during sieges. Benefits towards engineering or some kind of making engineering items as well.
Interesting.
Battle mounts. I don't know.
No, there are some. Did you see? I forget what they're called. There is a special kind of mount that you can get. I want to say it's like a group mount or something like that. I did a mount video way back in the day when I first started doing my. Well, I guess it's not back in the day, but
Get a
five,
moat.
6 months ago. Ooh, hey, that's cool. Maybe it'll just be a bunch of things like that. AV, a moat, better guards like a Sally Forth, like Bannerlord or something like that. With like knights, yeah, knights on horses mounted like a cavalry. You can have cavalry that charges out from your thing to help defend you. That could be kind of cool. Winged monkeys, faster weapons. Yeah, there's a lot of good ideas there, guys. One of the other questions I would say is, let's see, I had it right there. What are some of your main challenges you're facing as you prepare for Alpha 2, and how are you addressing them? I'm sure that I'd be very curious if I were a fly on the wall to find out what's really been giving them the most trouble preparing for Alpha 2, and was there any large
Ladies and gentlemen,
setbacks?
welcome
Hey,
to my
Crackers, thank you for the follow, buddy. I
underground
appreciate
lair.
it. What has set them back the most? It'll be interesting when they come up with that. Do you think maybe that Unreal 5? Hey, Clint, how you doing? Welcome to the channel, buddy. Do you think that Unreal 5 maybe set them back, a considerable amount going from 4 to 5? I'm going to gather that it probably did. Between that and COVID, both of those probably had a large effect on setting some of the progress back. 10 trees, AOC, welcome back, buddy. A moat with crocs and hippos. that could be interesting.
A coliseum,
Ooh.
inside.
Like
I was hoping.
That would be cool. Like if they had a plot for like a gladiator
for practice,
fighting
basically.
system, that could be. Well, no, where you could go in there and like gamble on it and bet on it.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Very cool,
Good.
actually.
Who mentioned that? Did you just come up with that?
Me, yeah. Well, I think I said it before back in the day, but yeah.
What do you guys think about that? A coliseum that they could come up with, and they could win money from like the mayor or something like that. That could be fucking cool. So, Avi says main thing to do is have Ashes have a comp that will run it well. Yeah. I just bought a nice system right now. You can get some pretty good systems out there right now. You don't need the top card. I bought a 4070, and that's, I think that's going to be just fine. I did kick up the RAM. I got 64 gigabytes. I think that's important. But Dresches, I bet making dynamic server meshing working well is taking longer than expected. That's a fair assessment. And you have to think when Steven, you remember how Steven in his things kept doubling down? He was saying that he's still on target for the quarter three, and then, but he said that Brian Langford in that one stream was going to go ahead and try to, go over his roadmap a little bit and discuss and try to give him a final date. So and since he's kind of in charge of that server meshing thing, that would make a realistic reason. Maybe they ran into a hiccup or something like that. That they just need a little bit more time, and that's whatever. You want the game to be ready, right? If it's not ready, now here's something. Now we had one delay already, and this is not the first delay we've had in the progress of Alpha 2, but this is kind of big though. What do you guys think? How would you feel right now if they missed the October date? What would you say to that?
I wouldn't be surprised at all, because now I have zero faith in them keeping any kind of dates.
Because you have zero faith because they canceled on that one date?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about, that if they miss another date, I think they're going to I don't know if I want to use the word alienate, but I think they're going to piss off a lot of people. What do you guys think? Now, I guess in the big scheme of things, this is their project, and it really doesn't matter about our feelings and stuff like that, because they only get one shot at Alpha 2, and if it's not ready, it's not ready. But yeah, life goes on. Pissed. Yeah, I think it would hurt them. Yeah, I think it would hurt them. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's hope and pray that that is not the case. That does not happen. Um, I have I have always been a glass half full kind of guy, so I am going to have faith in Steven. He's not giving me a ton of reason not to believe him. You know, I mean, we all know it's a development. Shit happens. So, and really, the delay that they had wasn't a very long delay because a lot of people were thinking the end of September anyway, right? So that it was only a 1 month delay. So whatever issue that they had couldn't have been that big, right? So you want to read some of these guys, Perry? I need some water.
Yeah, they missed OCT. Lots of people will be mad. Or October. Yeah, not me. They did it to themselves. Overhype, underdelivered, and yeah. I can't speak for others, but if they get pissed, what other options do they have? Most of us are just waiting for Ashes because, yeah, not only MMOs, but
Fair.
there's no good games to play. Like I'm kind of like we're all just buying our time.
Yeah.
But you know, there's at the end of the I have a couple games on my list that at the end of the year when Ashes actually comes out, I'm gonna be playing while Ashes there, so too.
You
I
know,
think there is a balance, huh?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Aeon says, I think there is a balance. It is not like 15 years ago where we as a community accepting things anymore. There needs to be more dialogue between the devs and the community. Exactly. If they would just be more honest, I think we would be more accepting of whatever they said. They'd be like, hey, this is our date. We're running into some stuff, and actually show us what they're working on. Be like, oh, this is exactly what's wrong with like server meshing. I think we'd be okay with it. We're used to.
Well, we don't know
fuck-ups.
if it's server meshing or what.
Well, I'm just saying hypothetically.
they did mention those other games. I don't know how much of a factor that had into it,
I want
but
to say it did. He got scared for some reason, and
I don't think they should be scared. But
I don't think they should be, but I think they did get scared about WoW and what was it, New World.
no, I would never be scared of New World. I think it's Throne and Liberty that was coming out that they, Throne and Liberty and maybe something that the WoW had. I don't know. If
a
anything,
little bit of everything probably.
If anything, I think it'd be a good thing to take some of the eyes off them when it's early in Alpha 2. Because people will always tune back in as soon as they get bored of those games, and then they'll be a little bit farther along. So I don't know. By the way, I wanted to let people know, if you guys are bored, and if I don't know who here plays survival games or stuff like that, but on my Discord at the Hidden Dagger Inn, you can always get it from me. I think it's on my About section at the beginning of the page. But we have a bunch of survival game servers up. We have Conan Exile servers up, Rust servers up, Ark, and 7 Days to Die. So if you guys like to play those games, maybe we can all get a big group of people or something like that and play those games, because give us something to do in the meantime and do as a community. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you guys want to join Discord sometime, come on and say hi to Peon and let me know how you're doing and what you guys are up to, or we can play some games or whatever. But let's see. Grumpy says, sadly, yes, no other MMO. Yeah, that's for damn sure. Avi, I would rather take the delay and have them get it right. Yeah, in the big scheme of things, Avi, you're right. I would definitely agree. We got 10 Trees saying there is no reason for them to give hard dates. Yeah, it usually does bite you in the ass, and you're right about that. Cracker says the other releases are not completion or competition, Crackers. I'm not sure what you meant by that, but they're probably not either. Aeon says, speaking of survival games, did you see the new one called Sand coming out? No, I didn't, Aeon. And when's that coming out? And I'll take a look at that. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. We got a first-time chatter here saying, Sane Strife, thank you very much for the first-time chat. Welcome to the channel. Everything is writing on this A2. If they release it, it's going to be, and it's garbage. The game will be finished, in my opinion. Say be patient, just wait. I don't know. You're right, Sane, is that there is a lot writing on it, right? They're only going to get one chance to market this A2, but you probably just competition. You probably just came in, and I did mention this earlier. I don't want people's expectations to be that high at the beginning of Alpha 2, because it's not going to be like this you're not walking into an early access, right? That's not how it's going to be. It's going to be focused testing in a setup in a persistent world. So when they're not testing, you're going to be working on some of the stuff that you want to do or checking it out. But it's not going to be fully fleshed out in any means, shape, or form. So people's hopes, I think, are a lot of people who have not been paying close enough attention to development. Maybe they just bought an Alpha 2 and they tune in every now and again. But I think that they're really expecting a little bit much. We will get there, but we got to focus test it. And like we talked about earlier, we wouldn't be surprised if it's just the Riverlands that we see very early in Alpha 2. So we have to, damn autocorrect, yeah, tell me about it. We have to keep our expectations in check. So if we do that, we won't be disappointed. Let's test the stuff that they want us to test, the focus testing they want us to do, because the quicker we do that for them, the quicker they're going to get the data they need, and the quicker we can move on to something else. So Avi says people have such short memories. If they will be pissed now, that's very true, Avi. And Sane says with so many big streamers like Asmongold who are going to be streaming it, yeah. Now, I like Asmongold. I actually watch a lot of Asmongold streams. I actually laugh when he does his politics streams and stuff like that, too. He's sometimes is not the most informed. I don't know if his community sometimes leads him down the wrong direction. He really kind of screwed the pooch this last time when he assumed that the worlds were like one big world. He got that one wrong, and unfortunately Asmon reaches a whole lot of people because he's good, but it also gave a lot of people the wrong information.
That was Narc's fault too for having that one slide that says one realm.
Oh yeah, probably.
And he did a video on it. He's like, oh shit, I forgot about, or shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. So Asmon's human, just like everybody else. People make mistakes. It is what it is. But and I'm sure he's probably gone back over and told his people, said, "Look, I fucked up or whatever. I got that wrong." But nevertheless, a lot of people got the wrong idea, and so hopefully that kind of stuff doesn't happen because he's got a huge influence. So you're absolutely right about that. And Cracker says people keep saying it's not early access, but they are Yes, thank you, Crackers. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times Steven has told us to curb our expectations, and yet I think people just tune them out and just don't really listen. They just don't listen. So they're gonna find out. They are gonna find out. But what do you think, Perry? Do you think that I'm right about that? Do you think people are expecting too much at Alpha 2?
No, I really.
You don't think they're expecting too much?
We all want the game to be as best as possible. People are all really excited, but I mean, maybe I'm just talking to a lot of like guildies and stuff like that, people that are already invested in the game. I haven't talked to a lot of people that are just like brand new to the community and stuff like that. But people, we all just want it to be a good game, and we're just excited to see it. And it kind of gets misconstrued as, oh, it's going to be great and stuff like that. It's going to be a perfect game. I mean, it's
what are your guys' expectations? Okay, let's talk about this. Let's break this down.
A server crash the first day.
That probably could happen. I mean, that's understandable.
I mean, notoriously, the most notorious MMO thing is always a crash or a huge queue every day. So,
but let's think about it.
If that
aside from the server crashes, let's talk about gameplay. Let's talk about what people are going to be able to get, what they're looking at in Alpha 2. What would make you happy what's a bare minimum you need in order to feel like, you're being, helpful in testing, but yet you're still getting to play the game a little bit as well. What are you looking for the game to actually have in as a bare minimum? What do you want to do?
Mining.
I think that's safe to say that.
Out.
I think mining is definitely going to be in there.
Yeah, but I want it to be fleshed out. I want it to be like all the bag sizes. I want like all the different ores that you can, like the recipes with the ores and stuff like that, the smelting of it. I love that stuff. So
Crackers brought up a good point there. He says, I think Intrepid's handling of this implies early exit. It kind of does, with the fact that they're going to wipe the whole thing. The problem was they, like Cracker says, they sold A2 on a persistent world tag. And I know what persistent means to me, and I know what persistent probably means to a lot of other people.
Persistent with wipes.
Yeah. Well, they've said that they're going to try to avoid wipes, but I have seen a little bit of backtracking from Margaret on what their version of persistent means, and I'm pretty sure there's not many different versions of persistent. I think if we looked up the dictionary, somebody could probably pull up a dictionary version of it, but I think there's only one version of persistent. But I get what they're saying. They are going to need some downtime for patches and for some issues that come up, and I think everybody's okay with that. That shit is going to happen. There's going to be something that, maybe there's a huge memory leak or something like that, and that it's a development game. Those things happen. Maybe there's a huge memory leak and they need to take the servers down for a little bit until they fix it. That could happen. So that's, but what other things are you guys looking for? What's going to make you happy? Like if you had caravans as a game loop early on, would that be enough to keep you entertained when you're not doing focus testing? And Sane Strife says the combat has to be smooth. Everything else is just icing on the cake. Okay, that's fair. Shipple says, seeing the interactions, testing. Welcome, Shipples. Shipple says, seeing the interactions, testing feel responsiveness. Okay, that's fair. And AV says, honestly, I'm looking forward to testing builds. Yes, builds. I want to mess around with the classes, AV. I want to mess around with the tech trees that they're doing and stuff like that. I just want to explore the world. I want to check out some of the crafting that they have in the gathering. I want to see how fluid it feels. Just check out some of the other classes. A lot of PvP. Hey, I'm on here early for you, just for you. I got to take care of Germany. I'm doing well, buddy. How are you? For some reason, you're always coming online when I'm away from the computer. Well, you just got to have your alerts on, You got to pay attention to that Peon alert. But that's okay. Good. I'm glad you're doing good, my friend. Definitely going to be on a lot earlier. This is my last weekend before I go back to driving the kids on the bus because they're starting school next week. So yeah. So I'm now going to, when I come home, I do a split shift. So hey, Saint Strife, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it, buddy. Welcome to the channel. So I'm probably gonna be doing since I do a split shift, I'm probably gonna be streaming between the morning and the afternoon. That's probably the best time because I'll be pretty tired at nighttime. As says, super interested in the artisan craft and everything revolving around guides, guilds. Oh, you know what? You mentioned something there about guilds. How interested are you in guilds and what kind of ability, or you and everybody else in here interested in how the guild breakdown is going to work? What are we going to get as far as what's going to be the incentive for us not to run that 300-man Zerg guild, right? The abilities, whatever they're going to give us, in my opinion, has to be something, and throw out some ideas. What do you want to see as far as those guild perks? Because it's got to be substantial. Like, I've thought about things like say you had an ability, it'll give you like a greater radius, right, for your AoE spells or something like that. Because you're going to have stuff that tries to combat larger groups, right? So maybe a little extra HP, larger radius of AoE, maybe more damage to larger groups or something like that. What do you guys think about some of those ideas? Perry, you got any ideas that you can think off the top of your head that you would like to see to give the smaller guilds a little bit of an advantage?
I just think, yeah, the HP is going to be huge. That's going to be, there's going to be damage, like for the groups and like the tiers, like the officers and stuff like that. They've already said that, like per the guild.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how they can actually counter as like a Zerg. Like, like we've all been in MMOs with Zergs, like a real Zerg.
Yeah.
Going from place to place, you're not going to beat it if you're
Yeah,
like
the fact
10
is,
people against a
300
30-man
people is
Zerg,
300 people.
or
That's
40.
300 people to take down. So
It's just kind of one of those things that are in the game, and you're going to run into one eventually, and you're going to get rolled, no matter how good you are. Like, but there are going to be some, like, if you're rolling with a really tight PvP team and you're used to, and you're all spec'd out PvP and you have gear that's, like you do it, it's going to be fun for sure. I'm definitely going to be one of those people, but yeah, I would say, like Dresh was saying, HP in the least you're going to get it. So as a good perk.
inventory space, Dresh brings up, and
I don't know about
Az
inventory
says,
space.
yeah, I don't know how excited I would be about inventory space, but Az says, I think we need a live stream presentation. That's definitely something that I think is on the schedule. As I think a whole lot of people want to know about the guild perks and stuff like that, especially when it refers to,
AoE
like,
power.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's that?
Cracker
Oh,
saying
yeah.
increases AoE. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What else could be? Maybe. How about like CC
like
puts him to sleep like 3 seconds longer or something
just
like that?
immunity, like to
Or
some
immunity?
extent, like a 5% chance to not get CC'd. Like on a stun.
I honestly think
That'd be huge.
I don't know. I'm in Overlord, right? I'm in a little bit of a bigger guild, but I don't know about most of you guys. I know Perry's in Doonhold, which is a pretty decent sized guild. But are you guys mostly the ones in the channel here? Are you guys planning on being in a very large guild? I think the real advantage is going to be in the smaller guilds. I really do. And smaller guilds that are making alliances. I think that's where it's going to really come into play. The small guilds, you're going to have the best of both worlds if you can make friends, right? If you can have a small guild, you have a 50-man guild, you have a lot of extra perks on you, but you have people that you can count on to come together. As far as, if you're in trouble, if somebody declares war on you or something like that, kind of like NATO, you declare war on me, you declare war on everybody.
Yeah,
so that
can
can be kind of interesting.
That like the Ashes community is so tight knit, especially like like all the guilds know each other. Like, it's funny. Like, Overlord knows Doonhold. Doonhold knows, like, Envious. Envious knows what's it called? Yuffie or whatever.
Ethereum.
We're all connected. And I know we're not all going to be on the same server, but the ones like I know Doonhold, we're all going to be on the same server, and we already have 5 guilds that are going to be our allies. So it's going to be a huge
friends.
thing.
What is this word? Cracker says increase. I gotta catch up on this chat. Cracker says increase strength against Zergs, increase AoE power. Tentree says there will be built-in bonuses for small guilds. The only way they can survive a big guild is with alliances. Yeah, I agree. Sane says another thing is I want to see corruption system and how punishing it is. I hope it works as intended. I believe saying they will keep working on it until it has the desired effect, because the number one thing I'm worried about is people finding ways around it. That's that will happen, saying they will find ways around it, but I believe Intrepid will stay on it. It seemed from what I heard from Lineage 2, where the corruption system came from, it seemed like they had a pretty good handle on how to deal with it. I think that they'll be able to I don't really see corruption as a really big thing down the road. As says, that would be interesting. Bonus perks, especially people get not. Yeah, I don't want to see gigantic Zergs. I just don't. That get overrun with everybody. More than that, I don't want to see big Zergs running through and taking out the world bosses and stuff like that. That would suck. Dresh, CC effectiveness, yep, and maybe, yeah, exactly, maybe a little bit longer or a little bit wider effect. Shipples, I'm interested in how the economy will be in A2 and how different the nodes will be from one another. A bonus for guilds and node wars, absolutely. Cracker says we are 100 plus in A2. Okay, that's a pretty good sized guild, but you should still be able to get quite a few of the good perks when they are in fact put out. AV says, nope, I'm planning to round up 30 peeps. The problem with a 30 peep guild, AV, and I think that's a good thing, the problem is that are all those 30 people going to, when you say a 30 people guild, are all those 30 people going to be on at once? And that's the thing. The odds are probably not. So you might have to expand your guild a little bit just to get that number of 30 that you're looking to have on a concurrent basis. As says, definitely interested in alliances. If we can get enough decent, motivated players together, then it really doesn't matter. What's the friend's word? Friends. Small guilds will be okay if their members play at the same time. Yeah, and you hit it right there, Dresh. If they play at the same time, but. And again, I put this on my YouTube video yesterday. People are underestimating what reputation is going to mean in this game. Not just for the nodes that I was discussing yesterday, but for guilds and everybody as part of it. If you have the goon, as I referenced yesterday, if you got the goon squad guilds don't run nodes, but they also have a large influence. So if you have 1,000-player split up into 3 or 4 different, sister guilds of the Goon Squad in your node, they have a large influence, especially if there are alliances in there too. So if you're a douchebag guild and or alliance, people are going to come for you. The reputation in Ashes of Creation, in my opinion, is going to be different from any game that we've experienced in past times, or at least in recent memory. In games like Dark Age Camelot, if you were an asshat, you got shunned from the group. You were not invited because people didn't want to roll with you. And I think, and that's kind of the way I'd like to see it. The reputation that you build for yourself is going to carry throughout, because you can switch to another alt if you want, because your reputation might be so bad. But if people get to know you and you play your character all the time, you're going to want to make sure you have a good reputation. If you're known for a douchebag, it's going to carry with you. What do you guys think? You guys agree with that in chat? And Perry, what do you think?
I mean, there's full guilds. I mean, we've talked about this, and you've had them on multiple guilds on the server about mercenary guilds. At least all the guilds that I'm talking to already right now have not only blacklists, but like what's it called, in Discord, like notifications for people that's being set up. If this person is seen and he's on our shit list, it'll flag, like it'll give us notifications. And then, like I just said, there's mercenary guilds that you can hire out to go track people down and kill them. It is going to be a huge thing, like you say. I think most people won't start shit because it's just one of those games. I don't think it's this is not a full-on attack game like any MMO. I would say a good 20% of people are going to be like PvP oriented, if that. That are going to be like just barbarians. They're just going to be attacking a lot, red, purple all the time. So,
Saying you got some bonus points for me, buddy. I played Warhammer Online too. Ran a large guild, Dusk Till Dawn, and a large alliance as well in Warhammer Online. I love that game. Unfortunately, EA had their hands on it and fucked it up, but I'll leave it at that. Shipple says, "What is stopping a big guild from being grouped into 10 small?" And that's going to happen. That absolutely will happen. But here's the issue with that, Shipple. Here's the issue with big guilds going in and running into a bunch of sister guilds. One, okay, here's the first problem. If the guild leader wants to maintain ownership of those guilds, he's going to have to run 10 different accounts to do it, or 10 different alts or whatever to do it. So they're going to have to manage that, right? Or they can put in trusted people to do that. But we all know how that works out. And I think this is part of Steven's grand plan. Is yes, you can break up into smaller guilds, but what always happens in those really big guilds that split up into smaller guilds? There's going to be a disagreement. There's going to be drama. They're going to split off from each other. It's guaranteed to happen. That's what's going to stop those bigger guilds from doing that, in my opinion. I think that's going to be the real problem. And AV says, will bounty hunters have a tracker on the map for the bounty? There is going to be a path finding system or something like that, AV. I believe that's on the wiki. They will be able to track players who are corrupted. As says, I remember a person in WoW Vanilla who always stole mats and ingredients from people who wanted to transmute. Oh, I hate those fucking people. And mostly shunned that person. That's one thing. you always got to be careful in games that do trade windows and stuff like that, because there's always some douchebag. You remember in Diablo 2, they always used to try to scam you
love that
and like
shit.
switch it or take it away at the last second. There's
You're
always
not paying
those
attention.
assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your own fault, though.
Yeah,
mean,
always those assholes. Sane says, I was not only in Dust Till Dawn, I was the leader of Dust Till Dawn and the leader of the Retribution Alliance. That's my name back then was Santanico, and yeah, that was my name. And also I had a 72 realm rank witch elf named Peggy Sue. So Peggy Sue got parried. That was my girl. But yeah, that was me. And I'm glad you were in the guild. I hope you enjoyed your time there. It was a fun game. But Dresh says, I think most of the open world fighting will have same reason behind it and denial rare resources. Yeah, guys, this game has got so much potential. So much potential. I am super excited to see what it has. But I just wanted to kind of go over, and hopefully on the 16th, in just a few days, we're going to find out all about, the roadmap, and we'll definitely have a discussion in the stream on what we're talking about as far as roadmap, how excited you guys are about what he talked about, and stuff like that. I am very excited to see, but I just want people to temper their expectations. Let's hope that there's no delay, because that would really suck. I think we've all, felt the same way, that a delay would be really bad. So let's hope that doesn't go down that route. But I'm hoping for the AMA to give us all the good information that he has. I'm thinking it's probably going to be longer than an hour, because there's a lot of questions for them doing it. Did they say how they're going to do the AMA yet? Has that come out? Is it going to be from the other content creators again, like Jamie Chaos and Nice and Sunny again and Vlad? Are they going to do that again, or are they going to do just questions from the forums? Do you guys remember them coming out and saying that? I haven't heard anything specific. So do you guys? I wonder if you guys remember that or not. But either way, I am going to go ahead and get ready to do some stuff around the house, and I just want to do a quick stream today. Perry, thank you very much for showing up today. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, everybody, for following today and coming in and chatting with us. We had a really good stream today, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. We're going to see if there's anyone to raid real quick as I pop on here, and we have he's not playing Ashes of Creation, but he is an Overlord member, so we're going to go ahead and give him a little bit of love. So thank you, everybody, for coming on in here and joining us. God bless everybody, and take care, and we'll see you soon. I'll be back probably on Wednesday, again, probably a little bit of an earlier time frame. All right, guys. Thank you. Take care, guys. See you soon. Raiding over now. Good job, Perry. That stream went really well.